What's up? This is Carmen on Dash Radio. I have here Keshi. We're so excited.
Thank you for having me.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Yeah.
I know you already. We started talking and we already
We had
basically.
we had some introductions
conversation.
already.
Yeah. But I wanted to get to know you, and I just feel like we all need to get to know you because you are so about creating your own music, and I really want to know how that started.
How it started. It started.
Yeah.
I feel like I've been
from the beginning.
From the very beginning. I fell in love with the guitar when I was maybe 12 or 13.
Wow.
I'd always kind of been enamored by it.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's beautiful.
I'd asked my mom to get me a guitar so I could start learning, and she said no.
Oh, wow.
And she was you're gonna drop it. You're not gonna stick with it. It's just gonna be something you throw away, like a toy, right?
Right.
I don't blame her for thinking that way.
Yeah.
But I was insistent, so the only logical thing to do was to supersede her and go to her dad, which is my grandpa, and be like, "Grandpa, I want a guitar."
Oh, wow.
You just you're sneaky like that. But I knew that my grandpa played guitar. He had them around the house and stuff.
Okay.
And I remember seeing them when I was a little kid, and I would go and I would bang on it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where the strings are, I would just tap on it.
Curiosity
Yeah.
of a child. Yeah.
So I thought he was gonna bring me his electric guitar. So
electric guitar.
I thought he was gonna bring me that one because that was the one that was at his house that I saw.
Okay.
So my grandparents, they owned a dry cleaning store.
Mm-hmm.
And my mom worked in downtown Houston, which is where the dry cleaners were.
Yeah.
So it was convenient for her during the summertime when school was out
Yeah.
to drop us off at the dry cleaner store when she was working.
Yeah.
And then she would go to work, and I would hang out with my grandparents. And one of those
that's
days,
nice.
my grandpa brought his guitar, and I don't know if you know what a classical guitar looks like.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
fat. They're
the
really
big, really big ones. Yeah.
Yeah, and not only the body, but the strings are different,
Yeah.
and the fretboard is really big. It's so that you can do different kinds of classical guitar,
Yeah.
techniques and stuff.
Yeah. I don't know much, but I've only seen mariachis.
Yeah,
and
no,
they're
yeah. It sounds amazing though. Yeah.
Do I bring this in?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
is that what that is?
No, I think what you're talking about for mariachi is they have some really huge ones that are bass guitars actually.
Bass
Those really big ones
guitars.
that only have 4 strings, those are bass.
Oh.
But some of them are more medium sized and they're strumming really fast.
Oh,
right?
okay.
So that was the guitar that I got.
Yeah.
And I didn't care. It was just a guitar. I finally got my hands
That's
on one,
amazing.
and he gave me a little book.
Yeah.
And I sat down and I just I think he was shocked at how glued I was to it the entire time.
That's amazing.
So he let me take it home afterwards.
Yeah.
So from then on,
Wow.
I've been married to the guitar. It's
That's amazing.
been glued to me. So yeah, that's how it all started.
Yeah.
And then slowly, my obsession kind of took over. It was just watching a bunch of YouTube videos, tutorials.
Yeah.
Trying to see what songs do I like listening to.
Yeah.
I think the songs that were popular, the most popular songs to learn
Yeah.
on a site called what was it called? It was called ultimateguitar.com.
Oh wow.
So it's
That's a big guitar.
yeah, it's a site where you can go to find tabs or chords. It's just how to play certain things. So Plain White Tees were on there.
Oh,
what was the song? It was
nice.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
Was that
Oh my
what it was called?
God.
There's another one called Airplanes.
That's so
right?
old. Airplanes.
Yeah.
B.O.B.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. There was a song by there was a song by Plain White Tees called Airplanes.
Oh.
I think there was another one called Hey There Delilah.
Yeah,
It's another
Hey There
really
Delilah,
popular one
yeah.
to learn.
Oh, at the time too.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So it teaches you some
Amazing.
really fundamental parts of playing the guitar.
Yeah.
And they just so happen to be really popular at the
Yeah.
time, on the radio and stuff.
So you learn how to do that.
Yeah, I learned how to do that,
Yeah.
and then it wasn't until I started listening to John Mayer back in my we're skipping it to high school
Yeah.
sort of era,
Yeah.
and a girl used Daughters by John Mayer in a English project. And I remember hearing the song thinking who is this? I gotta
Yeah.
find out who it is.
Yeah.
So I went into Google and I typed in the lyrics incorrectly, as you do,
Of
whatever
course.
you can remember.
Yeah. And it still pops up.
It still pops up. Yeah,
pops up.
it's because it's what everyone kind of hears.
Yeah.
So they search it enough, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I went to a Pandora radio station that's based off of John Mayer.
Yeah.
After that point, and
Wow.
that's kind of where
You're
the
really
love
bringing
started.
back all the throwback.
Yeah.
That's
yeah.
insane.
Absolutely.
I totally forgot about Pandora.
Yeah,
But that's
exactly.
the first that ever did it all.
Yeah,
Pandora
exactly. Like the radio.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, where you got to
Playlist.
discover new music and stuff like that.
Spotify is pretty cool at like making the playlist.
They're
Pandora,
it's so
they're
good
amazing.
At it. Yeah.
That's honestly how I found you.
Yeah. Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah.
nice. Thank you for listening.
Yeah.
So yeah, after I listened to John Mayer, that's kind of what started my want to like be a songwriter.
Oh, okay.
That's kind of what changed everything for me. I'd never listened to music that made me like that moved me in that kind of way. So I was like, oh, I want to make music that moves people. The same way that this did. And then the rest is kind of history, I guess. I went to college for nursing school.
What?
Yeah.
Nursing.
Yeah. I worked as a nurse for 2 years actually. After
2 years?
Yeah, after I graduated. So I graduated in
God.
2017 from UT Austin.
Okay.
And then I worked in
That's so
Houston
interesting.
for 2 years. Yeah. It was hard work, but
Yeah.
I feel like I learned a lot and I gained a lot of perspective
Yeah.
after it. But when I was in college, that's kind of when I started what we know as Keshi now.
Yeah.
As like a random SoundCloud account. And
Wow.
I was experimenting with learning how to produce music for the first time. And when you learn something new, you're gonna suck at it. So I just didn't want anyone. I didn't know what I needed. I didn't want anyone from my family and friends to like pretend like they enjoy the music. You know when like you see your friends who are like making music and stuff, like it's almost like their friends feel pressured to say like, oh, you did good, right?
Yeah,
but it doesn't feel actually validated.
Yeah.
You want other people to kind of discover it and like
sure.
listen to it and actually enjoy it.
Exactly.
So it was that kind of validation that I wanted to kind of push me forward.
Yeah.
So I made it a point to not tell anyone about this new SoundCloud account that I was starting. And
it was anonymous?
it was anonymous, yeah.
Stop.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So I just like made a SoundCloud account, named it Keshi based off of like a childhood nickname that I had.
Yeah.
And,
okay, I was gonna ask you.
Yeah, so the name Keshi comes from,
Casey.
so there was a family that I would go visit as a kid, and they're of Japanese descent. I'm Vietnamese, for the record. But every time they would call me Casey, in their accent they say Keshi.
Got it.
So that's where the name comes from.
Okay.
So I'd never used the name before.
Yeah.
So I just kind of threw it onto SoundCloud, and it just kind of stuck. And slowly but surely, I started gaining like, I don't know, like maybe tens of followers, like every week. It's just like just a few here and there. But that was world changing for me because I was like,
of course.
it was really liberating, and it felt like nobody was trying to save my feelings. Like they stayed because they wanted to stay.
Yeah.
And I never had to like push the music on anyone. I never went to a YouTube channel and was like, hey, will you feature me? It was purposely, I did it on purpose to just put it out there, and whoever discovers it, they can do what they want with it.
Exactly. I've never heard of that.
Really? Like, I don't know. I'd never really heard of it either.
That's such an amazing way to do it.
Yeah, it was crazy that it actually turned into something. It was never, I never intended it to be like a project like this. It was literally just like for fun.
Yeah.
You know? And here we are today.
Oh my God.
So,
And that was during your nursing?
Yeah, that was during college. I started like my junior year in college is when I started Keshi. And it didn't get serious until probably my first year working as a nurse.
That's so interesting. So nursing didn't really stop you from pursuing that.
Yeah, it was like the whole working a job thing was like it really ate away at me. Like
I get it.
I thought that it was like so I wanted to go to Berklee College of Music in Boston, and my parents were like, "Yeah, we're not gonna pay for that."
Wow.
So I was like, understandable, I get it. I'll find a normal job that can like that I can sleep through basically, and I can go home and make music whenever I want.
Yeah.
So I kind of bottled it up, and I kept on working, and I was like, yeah, this isn't bugging me at all, but the music started kind of picking up.
Yeah.
And I started getting some interest from New York.
Damn.
And I got an email from that dude over in the corner, who is my now manager from James.
That's amazing.
And he was the first person who ever got on and was like, hey, like let's hop on like a call. And I'd never gotten any sort of serious inquiry like that. I was like, okay, maybe this guy's on to something and stuff like that.
Yeah, totally.
That's how I met James. That's how it happens. Yeah. It was great.
He reached out to you.
He did reach out to me. I think that's kind of typically how you find like the really legit sort of people who want to do right by
work
you.
With you.
Yeah,
totally. And they understand you.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like a not so condensed but condensed history of like where things started.
That's amazing because either like even through all those boundaries you still pursued what you wanted to do.
Right.
And you're here now.
Right. I am here now. Yeah, it's crazy.
Because most people would just be like, oh, my parents said no. Like
I got to a point where I was like, I started imagining life when I was 30 and thinking like, man, I never took the jump when I could have taken it.
Yeah.
Like right when you graduate, like when you're like, I don't know, like 22, you still have like your whole life ahead of you. You can like try it and fail, but at least you try.
Yeah.
So I wanted to at least try. So that's how I justified it. I was like, I'm going to take a year to like give it a shot.
Wow.
But it's not like I didn't have like a reason. Like I was getting flown out. I was, whining and dining a little bit.
Yeah.
There was interest. There was a fan base bubbling. I actually left nursing like really late.
Wow.
James begged me to quit. He was begging me to quit way before there was label interest.
And your parents?
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, that conversation was interesting. All I wanted to do was.
All I'm thinking about is your parents, because I'm like, wow, they really like.
Yeah.
Since the guitar.
Yeah, right. Since the guitar. I mean, it's not like my parents didn't give me what I wanted.
Of course, yeah.
It was just
they
like
wanted the best for you, but.
It was just like I don't think you're actually serious about this. I'm like, this is my job now.
Wow.
But yeah.
So James begged you to.
He begged me to quit like really early on before it was even like a good idea. It was definitely a bad idea at the time. He's just glaring at me from but I remember the conversation of wanting to go part-time.
Wow.
Yeah, I worked 3 days a week as a nurse. It's 12-hour shifts, so 36 hours every week.
Oh God.
And I just wanted to reduce to 2 days. And my dad and I had a huge fight because he took it as I was living at home at the time, saving money.
Okay.
And he took it as like me not appreciating the opportunities I'd been given. Yeah. Because they immigrated during wartime from like the Vietnam War and stuff. And he was like, anyone would kill to be in your position right now. College educated, good job. Yeah, right?
Mom uses that on me too.
And like he was like, and you want to give all this up for this like dream you have.
Yeah.
Like you treat your job as if like I was telling him how much I hated it.
Yeah.
And he was like, you obviously don't appreciate it, Wow. And it's not me not appreciating it. It's almost me saying like, no, I want to take full advantage of the opportunity that you have given me, right?
Exactly.
I can shoot for the stars here, so I want to try to shoot for the stars.
Yeah.
So we didn't talk for a really long time after that conversation, but I did go part-time.
Okay.
But that was way harder than.
I bet that was hard doing that.
Yeah,
like,
but that was way harder than like quitting, because by the time it was time for me to quit, I remember I came home from a terrible day at work, and I was like, I can't do this in the flights to New York, and like I feel like I can do it, and I didn't have any record label offers yet. It was just a terrible day, so I came home and I was like, Mom, I gotta quit. Like I'm gonna do it, and she's like, Go, you got it. Like go do it. I get it now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's kind of the journey up until now.
Wow, that's so beautiful. Because either way, you're here.
Yeah, I'm here. I did it.
That's so beautiful.
Yeah.
I remember back in January, you posted a bunch of TikToks.
Yeah.
And that was when I also like started listening to you, and you TikTok, they just put a bunch of videos that like you know what they do, and they just like
yeah.
And I remember in January the world was going through like a very tough time.
Right.
And you were posting these TikToks of like an amazing view and you creating music. Yeah. And that just made me feel like, that just put me in a very happy spot.
Right, for sure.
And I just wanted to know what inspired all of that, and like because I know you were creating music during that time.
Right. So
what were you feeling?
The January, it's funny you bring up January, because that's when I started making the album that I'm going to release. But
we're gonna talk about that.
I wanted to kind of document the start of that process, because of all the music that I've done, I've never done like a day by day sort of thing. And the world was slowly kind of opening back up a little bit more than it was.
Yeah.
And I got to go out again. I've typically only ever made music by myself in my home studio, because I'm weird about playing with others. I don't know. I'm just like very precious about like my craft, I guess. Amazing. I'm weird about it. So for the first time, I started having sessions again, writing sessions, producing sessions. And I really wanted to kind of capture it, I guess. Yeah. And I got to stay at a bunch of different places too, at all these different Airbnbs, and
so beautiful.
It was inspiring. It really was fun, and I got to document my day-to-day process and stuff, and it's a nice little diary to look back on now that I'm done.
It is, yeah.
So I look back really fondly on it, and I remember how many tracks were done at each video too, and but in January when I was making those like videos, there was like maybe one song done, and I was so stressed about it.
Oh
I was
my
like,
God.
how am I supposed to make an album?
Yeah.
I don't know how long like it's gonna be. I don't know what I can write. I was feeling really dry at the time.
Yeah.
But I met a producer named Ely, Ely Risk, who shout out to Ely, the man. He's a genius.
Wow.
And he's the only person I've really been able to like work with. There's such compatibility there.
That's amazing. You just said you don't like working with.
Yeah, he's the only person.
Wow.
So far.
Yeah.
Maybe it has to do with me like gaining experience as a collaborator, you know?
Oh, okay, got it.
But yeah, he's really opened me up as like a creative, and I've learned so much from him, and we make music kind of in the same way, so it makes a lot of sense. Also, I'm very hands-on as a producer. Like I work out of Logic, he works out of Logic. We can change out as we want to.
Oh, nice.
It's great. It's super awesome.
Yeah, I hear a lot about FL Studio.
Yeah, FL Studio is great. Yeah, I do. I use Logic because I started in GarageBand, and the transition is like seamless.
GarageBand.
Yeah, GarageBand was awesome.
Oh my god.
Awesome, yeah.
I did not understand.
Oh, did not? Yeah, I mean, yeah. I feel like
but also you gotta look into it.
Yeah, it takes like probably like a couple hours. Yeah, and you got it.
That's amazing. That's so cool. Yeah. And I just wanted to know, do you have any advice that maybe stuck with you, or that you have like towards people who are stuck right now? Because I know you went through like a bunch of boundaries.
Right.
And what kept you going? What kept you?
I think at the end of the day, I don't know. I gain a lot of perspective like working in healthcare, and seeing so many people kind of, not everyone was like this, but there were a few instances where they were kind of nearing the end of their rope. And I was thinking like, I don't want to live this life with any sort of like regrets.
Exactly.
And I only have one.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't I do it? Spending time doing exactly what I want to do. Yeah. Yeah. I think that was my mindset.
Yeah.
And I would, I guess I'd tell people like, ask yourself what it is that you really want to spend your life doing. And music. The thing is, music doesn't have to be a career. It could just be something that like you want to do. Totally. When you're at home and stuff. Just do whatever makes you happy in a balance that that makes you happy.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to. What do you have coming up? What?
So yeah, I've just finished an album. It's the first time I've ever made like a cohesive album, because everything I've made before has been like a small EP. Yeah. Because it was easier to it was easier to kind of make a few songs. Pick the best few songs from the ones that I've made. Yeah. And tie it with a ribbon and be like, here you go, here's a project, But it never felt like cohesive to me.
Right. I was gonna ask you. What made you decide that you finally wanted to release an album?
I'd been procrastinating it for a really long time. The closest.
It's meant to be though.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. The closest I ever got was the last EP that I put out, which was like 6 songs. And I remember submitting it and feeling a little bit sad, because I was like, wow, this was the closest I was ever gonna be to having like an album. Yeah. But at the end of the day, I think it works out, because every single track on this record I'm immensely proud of. Good. And like it just makes sense. It's cohesive. I remember I was so intimidated starting out, and I was like, what makes an amazing album? Like I want to make something that's like an opus record. That's like undeniable. Yeah. Like Blonde or like Continuum by John Mayer. I think that's like just Blonde. Always like the end goal. Yeah. To make something that is timeless. Timeless. Yeah. I was just about to say timeless. Right? I think this record's like a pretty good shot at it. I don't know how it's gonna be yet, like how it'll be received, but I can still listen to it, and it's been like a few months since I've finished it. So like I adore this thing, and I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that I have somebody else who worked on it. So it's not just purely me, right? I have his input too that I just adore. Yeah. You think if you didn't, you'd be a little bit more harsh? Maybe. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. It's hard to like hate something that somebody else made. Yeah. And I'm genuinely a fan. More complete. That you have someone else's opinion. Yeah. Yeah. And the record's special because I feel like I wrote a lot more personally and a lot more candidly about my life and things that are going on. Yeah. It's just sonically really dynamic, and I'm so proud of it. Yeah, you should be. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I know you've accomplished so much, but what are your music career goals in the long run? Dang, I would
even generic ones, not,
right?
Yeah, not specific.
So, I do get this question a lot,
Yeah.
and I always give like this weird, kind of corny answer. But when I was younger,
yeah,
and I was like a big John Mayer nerd, I would spend like all the hours of my day going through every one of his like performances, every one of his like stadium tours and everything.
Wow.
And my idea of like success is watching him shred a solo for a stadium of people. So that's like all the way. That's like the dream for me, right?
John Mayer.
Yeah, being able to like be an artist is really cool, and be a musician and a songwriter is really cool. The dream is that though. The dream is to like rip a solo for a stadium.
Yeah, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Well, I'm so excited for everything that's gonna come for you in the future, and thank you so much for coming, Keshi.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Thank you. Let everyone know where they can follow you.
You can follow me on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, everywhere, Spotify at Keshi. That's Keshi.
Thank you.
For sure. Thank you for having me.